Let me paint a picture. The year was 2014. I was entering my second year of college. I was playing football for my school, and so most of my buddies were footballers. I was one of the only players with an apartment at the time, so most of the other footballers would come over before training to play FIFA 14. FIFA 14 was a nostalgic game for me. It wasn't the best one, but when my teammates weren't there, I was still playing. I loved the single-player career mode as a player, so I started with basically nothing and worked my way through the English divisions. Wouldn't you know it, a couple of seasons in, I get traded to a team called Ipswich Town. This has been a really long-winded way of saying I support Ipswich Town. For whatever reason, playing with them while having little knowledge of lower league football stuck with me, and I have loosely followed Ipswich ever since. Maybe it's due to nostalgia or whatever, but I love to see this club succeed. Now, if you pay any attention to football outside of the top 5 leagues, you are probably somewhat aware of Ipswich Town's circumstances in football. The team is about to secure back-to-back promotion and return to the Premier League for the first time since 2002. Where have Ipswich Town come from? Getting promoted to the Premier League is no small feat. In today's video, I'll be diving deep into the newly promoted squad's history, their recent success, and what the team and fans can expect going forward. If you want to be promoted to the Premier League just like Ipswich Town, I would recommend joining the 220 burly bucks who have already subbed to the channel. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. In 1878, Ipswich Town FC emerged as an amateur side under the presidency of local MP Thomas Cobbold. Over the decades, the club navigated through various leagues, experiencing both triumphs and challenges. Initially founded as Ipswich AFC, the club's early years saw notable victories and mergers with rugby clubs. Despite wartime interruptions and financial struggles, Ipswich Town gradually solidified its presence in regional leagues. The turning point came in 1936, when the club transitioned to professionalism, securing a place in the Southern League and winning the title in their debut season. This marked a significant shift, setting the stage for future successes. Under the guidance of manager Alf Ramsey in the 1950s, Ipswich Town rose through the ranks, clinching promotions and winning titles. The pinnacle came in 1962 when they became champions of the Football League, showcasing their prowess on both domestic and European fronts. However, the following years saw fluctuations in performance, with relegations and managerial changes impacting the club's stability. Despite intermittent successes, including the FA Cup victory in 1978, Ipswich Town faced challenges maintaining their top-tier status. The late 20th and early 21st centuries saw a mix of highs and lows for the club. Periods of managerial stability were interspersed with relegations and financial struggles, culminating in a drop to League One in 2019, after over 6 decades in the higher divisions. The 2018-19 season marked the beginning of a promising chapter for Ipswich Town, with the appointment of Paul Hurst as manager hailed as, quote, a new era by the club. However, less than 5 months later, Hurst was sacked after securing just 1 victory in 14 league matches, leaving Ipswich languishing at the bottom of the championship. On October 27, 2018, former Norwich City manager Paul Lambert stepped in as the new manager. Despite efforts to turn the tide, winning only 3 games in the next 28 sealed Ipswich's fate, resulting in relegation to the 3rd tier of English football for the first time since 1957. Ipswich Town's drop to League One was devastating. Relegation is brutal in any division, but going from the Championship to League One brings you so far from the Premier League, it feels like you may never get back there. In their first season back in League One, Ipswich finished in 11th place. This year was odd due to COVID, but final standings were determined on a points per game basis because of the suspension of the season. The 2020-21 season saw continued struggles for Ipswich, prompting calls from local media for Paul Lambert's departure. Lambert ultimately left the club by mutual consent on February 28, 2021. Former Wigan Athletic manager Paul Cook was brought in as Lambert's replacement, signing a contract until 2023 on March 2nd. On April 7, 2021, Ipswich announced the majority stake acquisition by U.S. investment group Game Changer 20 Limited, with Marcus Evans retaining a minority share. Despite hopes for a turnaround, Ipswich's fortunes remained stagnant into the 21-22 season. Cook's tenure ended abruptly after 9 months. With his sacking on December 6th in 2021, Ipswich took 10 days to appoint former Manchester United coach Kieran Mckenna. Although form improved in the latter part of the season, Ipswich fell short of playoff contention, finishing in 11th place again. The improvement at the end would be a great sign to come for Ipswich Town, because after this season, the club would do something rarely done. In their 4th season in League One, Ipswich made a strong start, securing 7 wins in the first 10 weeks, while suffering only 1 defeat, maintaining their position in the top 2 until the 25th week. A series of drawn matches saw them slip out of the automatic promotion spots and into the playoff spots. As their chances of automatic promotion seemed to diminish, Kieran Mckenna's leadership proved pivotal as he guided the team to reclaim 2nd place with an impressive 18-game unbeaten run towards the end of the season. Ipswich sealed their promotion back to the championship with a resounding 6-0 victory over Exeter on April 29th in 2023. Throughout the season, Ipswich showcased their attacking prowess, scoring 101 goals and accumulating an impressive total of 98 points. To foreshadow a bit, Ipswich were not only good, but highly entertaining. Ipswich Town were finally promoted back up to the championship, where they can try and break through and make a push for top-tier football. Who would have thought? Who would have thought this year of all years, Ipswich would bag an automatic promotion spot from the championship to the Premier League, just after being promoted from League One the season prior? Must be the Kieran Mckenna effect, I guess. Kieran Mckenna's tenure as manager of Ipswich Town has been nothing short of remarkable, setting him apart as one of English football's most successful managers in recent times. I truly believe the reinstatement of this club to the Premier League should be credited to him. Since the beginning of last season, Mckenna's strategic prowess has seen Ipswich accumulate more points than any other manager across the top 4 tiers of English football, putting them on course for back-to-back promotions. What truly distinguishes Mckenna's leadership is not just the victories, but the captivating style of football Ipswich plays under his guidance. Their matches are filled with last-minute goals, dramatic comebacks, and relentless attacking displays that have become synonymous with Mckenna's brand of football. Thriving in the midst of chaos has become Ipswich's hallmark, with Portman Road experiencing a resurgence few could have foreseen when Mckenna, then 35, departed from his role in Ralph Rangnick's backroom team at Manchester United to take the reins at Ipswich in December 2021. Under McKenna's stewardship, Ipswich's gameplay has undergone a dramatic transformation. The expected goals graphic starkly contrasts the lackluster performance during Paul Lambert and Paul Cook's reign. Highlighting McKenna's immediate impact, his meticulous attention to detail is evident. From relocating training pitches to foster closer integration with the club, to his adeptness in conveying tactical nuances to his players, ensuring each understands their role and that of their teammates. Ipswich's rapid transition from defense to attack is a testament to McKenna's emphasis on teamwork and synchronization. Intense training sessions, coupled with extensive video analysis, foster personal growth and improvement even among seasoned players like Captain Sam Morsey and Massimo Luongo. McKenna's ability to foster personal relationships, aided by his relative youth compared to senior squad members, further strengthens team cohesion. With a background in youth football, McKenna possesses the acumen to nurture young talent while forging a cohesive unit. The progress of emerging stars like Leif Davis, who my wife thinks is so handsome, Nathan Broadhead, and Harry Clark underscores Ipswich's evolution under his tutelage. McKenna's success hasn't gone unnoticed. With interest from Crystal Palace following Roy Hodgson's departure in February, his ability to elevate a mid-table team to national prominence speaks volumes about his managerial prowess, solidifying his status as one of the brightest managerial prospects in English football. McKenna's appointment was a calculated risk that has yielded extraordinary dividends for Ipswich. If he should depart for another Premier League team, Ipswich should be in for a lucrative compensation package. As for now, though, he is staying with Ipswich Town. So let's celebrate the achievements this man and the club have had this season. At just 37 years old, McKenna's meteoric rise is a testament to his managerial acumen and underscores his potential for even greater achievements in the future. Speaking of the future, what can we expect from Ipswich Town going forward? Well, I know what Ipswich Town are going to do next season in the top flight, and that is entertain us with goal scoring. This season, Ipswich shot the second most per 90 in the championship, as well as allowing the second most shots per 90. A couple of weeks ago, I was watching the game at Hull, and while I was rooting for Ipswich, that game made me so thoroughly entertained the entire time, trading goals back and forth until the end. I think the Premier League is in for a real treat with Ipswich being promoted. I would venture to say Ipswich will have to make some moves in the transfer window, as some of their success came from players on loan from bigger clubs. And I think if McKenna has creative control over the team and the transfers, there is a lot of potential for Ipswich Town going forward. I would also like to mention that Ipswich now have the money from the Premier League backing them, so continued improvement on grounds and training facility should be in order. For now, it's just preseason speculation, but if Ipswich can limit the amount of shots they give up, it would in turn lower the amount of goals conceded and make them potential sleepers for a mid-table finish, and hopefully avoid the relegation battle altogether. I might be dreaming right now, but if not now, then when? Either way, I love the idea of Ipswich becoming a Premier League mainstay. And with Kieran Mckenna, they shouldn't be too far off that mark. I can't wait for Ipswich Town to show out in the top flight.